You know what it is. You tuning into the Notion, Dizzy D Spill, my co-host Jelani in the building.
What's going on? What's going on?
You're listening to a special episode of Boss Talk. I know a lot of our listeners really appreciate the Boss Talk episodes, so here we are, man.
Hi.
Yo, that was Saturday morning cartoons like a motherfucker, man. Oh, man. Blinders, brother. Blinders.
Yeah. Those things are meant for horses, right? So that while they're running their race, they won't get distracted by other horses.
Yes.
You use them for your windows to block out sunlight and other things you don't want to be seen, right?
Absolutely.
Blinders. Business blinders?
Yeah.
Business blinders. So basically, blinders to help you stay focused on your business?
Yeah.
I mean, in short?
I would hope. I mean, I wouldn't want to focus on a whole bunch of other businesses.
Well, I guess on the surface, that's what it means, right?
Yeah.
So I guess we got to get a little deeper into it. So, to not be distracted. And what I mean by that is, I'm in business.
Mm-hmm.
You're in business. We have friends in business. We have other people we know are in business.
Absolutely.
Everybody's business and what they have going on will grow and progress at different rates. Hell, some of those businesses will fail, even if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so, to have on blinders, business blinders, that to not be distracted by those around you failures or successes.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, as I stated, we all run the race, at different pace. We are progressing depending on your work ethic,
mm-hmm.
your resources.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the way things just happen to unfold.
Right.
And sometimes it's about being in the right place at the right time.
Right.
All of that kind of determines how things will go, how things will unfold, and when things happen. So if you focus on somebody else's failures, you could fuck up in a whole different way by trying not to make the same mistakes they did.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you guys are running a different race.
Right.
And you might not even have to worry about the obstacles that trip them up.
Yeah.
And so being distracted by somebody else's failure and putting focus on something that doesn't pertain to your progress can ultimately hinder you. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So, on the same breath, those around you who are winning,
right,
making certain strides or progresses or things happening, coming together while you were still in the trenches or while you are dealing with some obstacles or it's an uphill battle, right?
True.
That can be discouraging. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
What have I not done enough of, right?
Right.
What about why haven't I should be?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? You start to take focus off of the race that you should be running. Right. You start to question all that you've done and where you're at because you didn't get the same win as somebody else, even though you guys are in different lanes.
Right. Well, here's my thing. Let's do this. Let's use yourself as an example. When you first started really getting into the things that you wanted to do, basically everything that you're doing now, did you always have blinders or did you have to make it a habit? Or did you have to start making tough decisions that that could jeopardize relationships or experiences and things like that? Or did you kind of always have a blinders mentality?
I've always kind of had a blinders mentality.
Okay.
Which kind of sucks, like, to use me as an example. Just
Well, that's why I asked. Yeah.
well, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like I've always gone left.
Yeah.
You know, I've always like I've never cared, and that doesn't mean I don't care. But like I've never been concerned with how the masses feel about me, because I know those who really rock me, they really rock with me.
Yeah,
you know
they know who you are. Yeah.
And I've always been like that. I've always done my thing, and it's just like, if you rock with me, you don't. If you don't, you don't. Whatever.
Right.
And so because of that, I never look to compare myself to anybody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was always like, whatever it is I'm doing is what I'm doing, and nobody else can do what I do but me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so having that stuck in my head, it's just like, yeah, people are doing this, people are doing that, but I'm doing me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I said something earlier today, and it hit him like, huh? I was like, every day I try to find the best way to profit off of me doing me.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because nobody can do me better than me.
That is a fact.
And if I find a way to monetize me being me, I won.
Well, I mean, that's supposed to be the game plan. The game plan is supposed to be, you doing you at the best to your ability, instead of being better than the next person, or doing what somebody else did better than them. Or, I've heard the expression of, it's not about who did it first, it's about who did it better. It depends on what you're about. You know what I'm saying?
The person who did it first had the biggest challenges and the most uphill battle.
Yeah.
The person who did it best had
all the advice.
They had an outline to follow.
Yeah, right.
Like even to the point of seeing where you dropped the ball. I'm like, okay, I won't do that there. We're running the same race. I'm trying to do the same thing. So if I look to avoid the obstacles that this person went through, then I can do it better than they did.
Right.
But if they hadn't been an example for you in the first place, how would you know what to avoid or how to maneuver?
Right.
So the person who did it first is the trendsetter, the trailblazer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like, sheesh, depends on how you look at it.
Yeah. I think that, me asking you that question, as far as, because I've had to develop the blinders mentality from a younger age, and then, teenager, and then early 20s, and then mid 20s, and then late 20s, and then now in my 30s. And it was a process for me, because when you don't notice certain things are a distraction, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. First of all, you have to identify what your distractions are. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to identify. And, I'd have conversations with like-minded people, and, I would find myself talking about some things I didn't like, some things that I'm experiencing. And then, they would be like, yo, that's a distraction.
Facts.
That's a distraction.
Flip side. In some of my more recent years, I've had issues with dealing with the distractions. There's something that I'm extremely engulfed in now that was never an issue back in the day growing up.
Okay.
Social media.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Even though it's just a highlight reel of nothing but wins, depending on who you see winning, it can distract you.
Yeah.
See, that's where a different D word comes into play, and that's the discipline.
Yes.
Because when I get distracted, I have to remind myself what it is that I'm doing and why it is that I'm doing it. And when I remind myself what it is that I'm doing and why it is that I'm doing it, I come back into the understanding of why I am where I am, and our paths are different. So that's a win for them. That's ultimately a win for me, but I shouldn't be looking at like, well, shit, where is mine's at?
Right.
Because in retrospect, it's kind of all I've been doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just kind of like, bro, like,
yeah.
Give them, yeah, that's what's up. Because nigga, like your win-loss ratio is like 87%.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when I shoot, I score.
Right.
So you know,
Right.
so but having that discipline, even though in the whole thing, like, you know, maybe you 50-50. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case is, but having that discipline to understand where you're at and understand your journey and that you're in different lanes. And what's meant for you will always be for you. There's nobody that can stop that but you and the man above.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like ultimately.
Right.
So being discouraged, being distracted, it happens, but you also need to be able to have the discipline to snap yourself back into it, which can be difficult, bro. Like straight up, 'cause like I said, if you're on social media and it's like running a business, running pages, having things going on, you have to be on social media more than you would like to.
Yeah.
So you tend to see stuff more than you would care to.
That you don't care about.
Because you see, and the whole thing about it is just like, because people brag about miscellaneous stuff now. You know what I mean? I did this, I did that. And you're like, well, you know, everybody kind of does that. But I'm happy. You know, it's just like, so, but then you see certain people wins and you like, bruh, sheesh.
Yeah.
That nigga got a shoe deal?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
How you pull that one off?
Yeah. And
what you mean he's designing for who?
Yeah.
I've been making shit longer than him.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what I'm saying? But it's just like, what is it that you're doing? Why are you doing it? Oh, so that puts you in a different lane than them anyway, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, then that means that puts you in a different lane. That means you're going different directions, right?
Exactly.
So their destination might have been sooner than yours because of where they're headed.
Right. You guys could be headed in two totally different directions, and you know you're doing comparisons, and then now you're off track. Now you're doing what they're doing.
You're veering off course.
You're going where they're going.
You're veering off.
And then when you get there, you find out that shit, this isn't where I want to be. The fuck?
Yes, you know that old cartoon where Bugs Bunny pops out. He's like, shit to the left at Rancho Cucamonga, bro. Like, not Palm Springs, huh?
Right.
Shit. Well, since I'm here,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause honestly, I kind of got distracted, but by nobody's fault of my own.
Mm-hmm.
The brand is called Kicks and Sneakers. I made hoodies from that. You know, I was like, oh, people like it, I'll make some shirts. And before you knew it, I started making clothing and designing pieces and all this stuff to the point where everybody was like, oh yeah, your clothing brand this, your clothing brand that. And I was just like, I'm not a clothing brand.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got caught up in the wave that I had created myself.
Right.
That wasn't supposed to be one.
Yeah.
Supply and demand. I got caught up in the demand, so I started supplying, and because of that, I put myself in a position to be doing something that had me looking like something that I wasn't aiming for.
Right.
So then I had to veer back on course and get back into my lane, which is shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which is shoes in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's me buying, servicing, flipping. You know what I'm saying? Blogging about, it's all engulfed, encased in that.
Right.
If I got some merch, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But Kicks and Sneakers is not a clothing brand.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got distracted. If I had blinders on, I'd have been like, yeah, I'll make some merch. Oh, when you gonna do this? That's not what I do. I have the merch available if you want that. I'm over here with the kicks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I got distracted.
Yeah, nobody
I didn't have on blinders. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, you gotta understand there's different
That's
ways.
true. Nobody asks Apple why they don't make printers.
There is certain things that can distract you and pull you off course, and it can be nobody's fault but your own. So you got to understand it in the different scenarios where you should have business blinders on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I keep asking you, why is it that you're doing it? If you're doing it, like if Kicks Sneakers, if your sole purpose behind doing it is to provide sneaker news, acquire rare kicks, be able to flip some stuff, and provide sneaker services, the fuck is you doing with sweaters and t-shirts? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I had blinders on and I stayed focused on the goal and the reason why, I would have never veered that far off course. Don't get me wrong. I am appreciative of it and I am happy for it. And shout out to everybody who contributed to the brand and got some clothing or got a piece made, because I guarantee them shits are one of a kind, because I probably will never do it again for anybody but myself. Unless I, Like if somebody
Unless you
contracted
just
me
get the itch and you're like, you know what the hell? Why not?
I mean, if somebody contracts me to design, that's different. You know, we can work. But like me just hopping back into that lane and creating for people like I was doing, it's not gonna happen again. You know what I mean? It's just, and the whole thing about it, if I do get anything created, I will be more hands off now.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will definitely be a lot more hands off, so it'll be different. Every piece that I had created until I stopped, I was hands on from start to finish.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
And there's so many different distractions within that. So you have the distraction of doing that, and then you have the small distractions with you being hands on, dealing with this person, that person, this. Bro, and yeah,
I'm shopping the color match threading.
Yeah,
for embroidery purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
and what people got to understand is like it is when you are a small business, it is actually very, very, very easy to get distracted because you are everyone that an actual corporation has. You know what I'm saying? You're the CEO, the chairman, you're the secretary, so you're sending the emails, your quality control.
And then this start going to this.
Yep.
Starts going to this.
Yep.
You're like, oh my gosh. Bro, why am I doing this? What is the reason behind it? You see that why I keep asking why is with the reason behind it, you understand the reason behind it, you'll shift back to what's necessary for you to get to that goal and minimize all the miscellaneous.
Right.
Because everything you're getting distracted by isn't necessarily needed. But because you're handling so many roles and you have so much going on, it's easier for it to happen.
Right.
Get back to your why.
Right.
Your why will help you. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what people got to understand. Like, really knowing that that's your why, not just picking a why. Like really sitting down, meditating on it, and say, okay, this is my why. This is going to be the answer I give every time somebody asks what my why is. So because if you don't, you're already setting yourself up to get distracted.
And that's the thing about it. Now, funny thing is, while I felt it was a distraction and I wasn't mad about what happened, it was also necessary because it ties into my why ultimately.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I took the scenic route.
Okay.
That will help me in the long. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But all in the same breath, my why has remained the same. If anything, as I have continued to progress, my why has become more developed and certain.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the crazy thing about it is, there's times where I'm executing stuff that is directly in line with the why without me really knowing it because I have the blinders on and I'm just working. I get this done, I need to make that done. Oh, that's going to help me progress. That's a good look.
Right.
That's why I'm on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, sometimes you do that extra and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just connected A to D without B and C. This shit's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, for real.
So, but it usually happens when you have the blinders on.
Yes, it does.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you're focused on the why and you're working towards it and you're putting it together, because once you start putting that energy out and you start vibrating on that level, the universe starts to hear you.
Yeah.
And it starts to vibrate back and you start to attract the things that are necessary and draw the people that are needed for you to make things happen for your why. Because you have your blinders on, you're operating with a certain level of energy and purpose.
Right.
Because you know what your why is and you're consistent in your why.
Consistent.
You feel me?
In your why. That's some game right there. Being consistent in your why.
Well, that's how you keep your blinders on and you not get distracted. Because the whole thing about it is like,
do you feel some people have their blinders on and they kind of take a little peek and and then it's all downhill from there because they took a little peek out their blinders and they seen.
Well, yeah, if you seen something you ain't used to seeing,
yeah,
it's called the factor. Just
yeah.
The fuck is that?
Yeah, right.
The horse is down. bifocals is out of the race. Like, yeah, okay. Nah, so yeah, but absolutely, like, and that's the thing. It's easy to lift the blinders just because of everything that's going on around you. Like, I mean, just in social media itself, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it seems like a lot of stuff is a competition with a lot of people now.
I feel like most problems, because social media is is such a huge factor that's not going anywhere anytime soon. I feel like because it is what it is, and how powerful it is, how influential it is, you know, if you make this a subtle small step in messing up your focus, it can actually be a hard get back. And not only that, but most problems that people have because of this huge phenomenon of social media, that most problems that people have is mainly because they're being distracted. They don't have their blinders on.
So boom, you said one wrong move, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, think about when you're on a freeway and you make that wrong exit. That's only one wrong move. And then that exit is actually 15 miles off course before you get somewhere that will get you back on course.
Right.
So
hopefully there's no detours on the way back.
If it's 15 miles out, that means it's 15 miles back in. Right? So now you're 30 miles off course, extra time.
Yep.
So when you get distracted and you go off course, depending on how far off course you go or where you are in your progress when you fall off course, when you go off for the road, will determine how long and how much you have to give to get back.
Absolutely.
Blinders.
I can even give a personal example. Like right now, I'm distracted. Not because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do with everything that I have going on, but there is a ritual that I've not been consistent with that I'm pretty consistent with. And that's writing in my journal every day. Writing in my journal, what are my goals? What did I execute and achieve last week or yesterday? What do I still need to do? You know, because you have your big goals, and then you know the process. You have your big goals, and you break those big goals down into small goals, and you know what are your wins and all this other stuff, right? And then I have my night, because I'm supposed to write in it twice a day, at the beginning of the day and at night before I go to sleep. That way, those are my thoughts. I've been off track. I've been distracted. I can't say that they're healthy distractions, but they're distractions that is hard to ignore because, you know, you have personal life, and you have things that come up. But the point that I'm making is that I'm able to acknowledge that and understand that. Okay, I'm a little distracted right now. It's time for me to get back on course, because that's going to happen. Nobody is 100% distraction proof.
Nah, not at all. And I was gonna say, but you're transitioning, and that's the thing. You have to understand transitions, right?
Very true.
See,
very true.
When you have transitions, things adjust, things change, things happen. So it's almost like when you're on a freeway, you don't go 80 the whole time you're on the freeway. You get to certain areas on your trip where you can only go 50 miles per hour, or, you know what I'm saying, you're transitioning to a small little freeway where you can only go
traffic
60,
and
you know what I'm saying? So when transitions happen and things happen, you know what I'm saying, you have to understand how hard you can go.
Yeah. Very true.
Remember, we were talking, I was like, bro, I haven't been researching my stocks or reading my books like I would normally do. And you're like, you know, when you're doing everything, you just can't get
you can't get to everything.
So you have to understand what has to be prioritized, right? Because I'm transitioning. So since I'm transitioning, I have to prioritize what's necessary for me to continue progressing. While this is also necessary, it's low enough on the list that me missing it won't hurt as much as me missing the priorities.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Is it needed? Hell yeah. Am I going to get back to it? Hell yeah. Because see, what you were talking about, what you were doing is reflecting. See, reflection is necessary for you to kind of assess where you at, what you've done, what's necessary, and where you can tighten things up.
Exactly. Come back to the board.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, boom, you go out there first quarter, you make things happen. At the end of the day, that's the end of the first quarter.
Yep.
So now you sit down, it's like being able to go over steps. Okay, we wasn't working off the screens like we were supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like when they cut back, make sure there's no back doors, cut that off. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, you wake up next morning, you're like, okay, second quarter, make sure we cutting off the back doors and we working across the screens. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So you have to reflect and you have to be aware of where you did and what you did and where you can tighten things up, because if you're not doing that, then you're kind of just out here.
So let me ask you this, because I know that I know plenty of people have probably asked this question. I know we've asked this question to ourselves. So I'm pretty sure our listeners and our day ones would love to know the answer to this question. How do you run with business? How do you keep your business blinders on and conduct business, and your business is connected to the social media realm? What things can you do that will still allow you to be consistent with your blinders on and operate on social media? I mean, I have my perspective, but your perspective. I mean, just based on how you operate.
Allow you to be consistent in business.
Yeah, like you have your business blinders on, right? Mm-hmm. But you know how distracting social media is, and most of us, there's not too many businesses that don't conduct themselves on social media.
Facts.
So how do you do that?
I turn my notifications off.
Okay.
I turn my notifications off for everything but DMs.
Okay.
And then I post, but I don't scroll. Well, because the whole thing about it, and every once in a while I'll scroll to double tap and everything, but honestly, I'll go to certain pages to put likes on people's pages to show love.
Right.
But I don't just because you can get lost scrolling.
Yes.
You can go down a rabbit hole and you'll find yourself looking at blinger booties, right? And can't have neither.
Yeah. It's like that meme where dude was laying in the bed and he's watching somebody from another country in a forest build a swimming pool in a house and a gym out of stones and wood and stuff like that. I've been that person where I'm like, yo, homie's really about to build. What is he building with this stick in his mud? And before you know it, he built a pool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get a better view.
Yeah. But nobody knows how they got there. Nobody knows. They don't know. They remember the video, but nobody knows what were you doing before you got to that point? You're scrolling.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, because think about it, if you got your notifications on, every like, every comment, every mention, every DM, everything.
It's a commercial.
You get it. It get boom, boom, boom. You be checking your phone all the time. Like if you post and you get traffic, you keep going back to your phone. Right. So I turn off the likes and the comments as far as notifications. Only notifications I have on are DMs, because if you're messaging me, I'm gonna assume it's
about business related. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm able to respond to that. And then I post and I get off. I post for others to see, not for me to see.
Right.
So I don't care about the likes, and I'll get to the comments when I get back on here.
Right.
It's not like I'm gonna post and I'm gonna have 10 comments in the next 5 minutes. Like, boom, oh, those is fire. That's hot. Where you get those? What's up? Like, it's not finna.
Yeah.
So I post and I get off. I let the people see it. That's for them.
Right. You're giving the content that's necessary for the day, and I'm on to the next. Okay.
I don't, because I have other things to do.
Right.
And I can only allocate so much time to social media. You know what I'm saying? And plus, understanding earlier, like I said, it's a highlight reel of wins. So why am I going to spend time on something that is fabricated to a certain extent? Like, it's not 100% real.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you might be doing this, but you're definitely blowing it up, making it look like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
you definitely put a 10 on it too.
Like one of my rappers said, he said, okay, so what? Now nobody's broke? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nope.
It's just
we all out here, we eating.
Bro, but ain't nobody clocking a 9 to 5. Everybody just taking trips and living
everybody
life,
taking trips and winning, man.
And that's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm not gonna sit up here and scroll through everybody winning because I know people are taking losses. I'm taking losses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody who has a business is taking some losses somewhere.
Bruh,
So come on, stop it.
Just in life, I'm taking loss. I've had some losses. It
Yes.
happens, okay, this is real life.
Absolutely.
So I'm just not finna sit here and act like so nobody just has everything's just great all the time for everybody and it's wonderful, right? Yeah, fucking sunny skies and rainbows every day. Anyways, so I post without scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn my notifications off for everything except DMs.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, because I have, well, before I ask you, I have a similar method, but I've learned to, because I like to engage with people so I can get the same engagement back. But I've also watched what I follow.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because the algorithm is on your ass. So I try to watch what I follow, what I engage with. And so because I have so many different things that I'm tied to, I try to make sure that that's what's going to be the visual. So if I'm on my music mode and I'm on my music page, I need to see hip hop. I need to see hip hop news. I need to see things that's going on with music and Business Insider, stuff like that. Right. And so I've learned to set it up to where when I go down this hallway, that's what needs to be in this hallway, whatever's about.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I know everything about me going on with shoes, because I be following all the pages.
Right.
I be following all the pages.
Yeah, I think like last week I sent you an article. Yeah, and you was like, yeah, I posted it on my story, bruh. And I was like, well, I haven't got there yet, sir.
Bro, because it'd be like, it's like, all right, so look, let's just talk about this real quick. Like, so that's the main thing. Like, not only do I follow all of that on social media, so if I'm actually on social media, that's all I see.
Mm-hmm.
But I run a newsletter and I write a blog, so I'm always reading articles and I'm always on different websites.
You're not showing me nothing new.
Nah, not at all. Like, it's very rare that somebody can show me something new. Like, bro, okay, so the Off-Whites are dropping, right? And they're dropping in some city I'm not gonna say because I don't want to see anybody there. But right, like, so that's when they're dropping. Mm-hmm. Right, and they just released the news of where it's gonna be. Well, me and the Connect, we had a conversation probably a week and a half ago, talking about traveling arrangements to go out there. Mm-hmm. So when you heard about it, it was already owed to me.
Yeah,
you see what I'm
saying? See what you're saying.
So
okay.
It's like because I'm higher up on the chain when it comes to news because of how I'm dealing with people and whatnot. So it's like
you're part of delivering that news, so you have to be there.
Bro, for a while I was operating in a Discord group where they give you all the information because it's like the first leaked news for you to be able to acquire kicks, basically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like, if I'm in a Discord as well, you can't tell me nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm getting first picks, like, before they get sent to the person who links them on social media and says it came from them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm actually seeing those raw, you know what I'm saying? Those raw images and stuff like, so it's just like, you can't really tell me nothing about this sneaker shit. Thanks, though. I appreciate. And that's the whole thing. Like, I appreciate the
acknowledgement.
The whole thing is like, you see this, you think shoes, you think of me. That's what's up. That's what I want. I appreciate that. I know
you're doing your job because they're bringing you something. Yeah.
Only like, get personal with family and shit. That's why I was like, all right, it's on the story, nigga.
Yeah.
I ain't seen it yet. Well, then you know what? After your reflection in the morning, run through my story. Anyway.
Hey, I ain't even gonna lie. When you said it was in your story, I was like, let me go look at this motherfucking story, man.
I was 7 hours ago.
Well, and I was tapping for hella long too. I was like, this nigga's story long than the motherfucker, man. I got popcorn in the microwave and everything.
Hey, sometimes the story be lit.
Your story be lit, man. But I mean,
sneaker news.
But it's good. But it's good information. That's good information. I wouldn't look at that nothing about that as a distraction because I'm obtaining information. I'm understanding what's going on.
But see, that's the thing. Like he's like, what's my method? Like when I hop on because of the people that I follow, mm-hmm. I can look on, or I can start typing stuff in the search, and those sites will come up. Those, you know what I'm saying, those pages will come up. So I go to the pages, I find the most recent news, current stuff, the fresh stuff, and I share it to my story for everybody else.
Right.
You prevent everybody else from having to try to search all over the place.
Right. I'm the plug when it comes to information.
Yeah, just one-stop shop my story.
Right. So let me ask you this then. It's another good one that I think people probably struggle with. So you have your method for, your the social media, because we understand how powerful, how influential, and how much of a distraction it can be, right? What about the outside entities? Because when you're running a business or you're starting a small business, you got friends, close friends, people probably you grew up with since childhood. You got family that you really love and really care about. And you can be the person that they confide to, the person that they feel that they can talk to, they could reach out to, that you have a certain aura or energy to you that they might feel a little better after talking to, but you just don't. I got to get here. I know you going through it. We all go through it. I got to get here. How do you manage that? Because that can be a distraction too. You pull your blood, you have two eyes.
Wait. How do I manage what specifically?
When it comes to the distractions of your close loved ones needing your time when you need to execute things.
Sheesh, it's difficult because, like, if you asking me personally, it's kicks and sneakers or bust. Everybody is aware of that. Everybody knows that.
So you made it aware what it is.
Oh, bruh.
Yeah.
So everybody has to. You don't have to necessarily be on board, but you can't be a distraction because I cut those loose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, there's two type of people ultimately. Like, in what I have going on, there's the players and there's the spectators.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you would be considered a player because you're in the game as well.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Family, a lot of time, are spectators.
Oh, yeah.
And what you have to understand with spectators is, like, they
see the game
opinions.
from the outside.
They have opinions just like assholes. They're not going to understand everything. They're going to feel some type of way. They're going to say what they're going to say. Everything is not going to be, great, and you're not going to be appreciative. But on the same breath, like you just said, they're on the outside looking in, so they don't even have the full understanding for you to really take what it is that they're saying to heart. You see what I'm saying? Because they're spectators. They're on the outside looking in. Right. Like, in certain cases, when it comes to this business shit, what you say is valued more than what a spectator say because you're a player.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So understanding that and putting people in place and making it, from jump, people got to know what it is, though.
Yeah, they do.
People have to know what it is, and that comes from you.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, if you establish something and you move like that, everybody's gonna know what it is. They have to, like, and this, like I said, you don't have to, like, be full on board and support it and rah sis boom bye, but you cannot be a distraction or give any type of blockage, because then I have to cut you short.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is trying to stop my progress and my growth from what it is I ultimately want to do.
Right.
You're doing that, then you're a hindrance.
Yep. And then when things get bad for me, there's no accountability for you. It's all accountability on me.
That's when them same spectators be saying, "I told you so."
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like, whatever. But it takes having that understanding.
Absolutely.
So it also takes you, establishing some things from jump. So you gotta be certain of your why.
Absolutely.
You gotta stand on your why.
Right.
When you do, everybody else will respect your why.
Yes.
They might not like it,
but they're gonna respect it.
And if they respect it,
yeah,
then the distractions from these people who respect it will be minimized.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's back to you establishing not only what your why is, but standing on your why.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
100%.
And when you do that, there's certain issues you won't even have to encounter.
Yeah. And I think one of the best ways to continue to do that is, that's like I said, like, I keep a journal. I don't know how many people want to keep a journal or if they even like to write anymore because everything is so digital. Even if you keep a journal on your phone, and constantly do daily or weekly evaluations.
I have an action list.
Oh, yeah.
I have an action list, and sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it's daily. But
is that action list just about business, or is it even a personal action list too?
It's split. It's
okay.
Business and personal.
Okay.
Sometimes there's more business on it than personal. Sometimes there's more personal on it than business.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's both, because the thing is, you got to be able to separate them.
Yes, you do. You have to know the difference.
Absolutely.
Some people don't know the difference. That's why they can't separate them. So you damn sure better know the difference.
Bro, it's like, okay, personal. Okay, I need to make a doctor's appointment. I need to make a new dentist appointment. Okay, it's time to get this done with the car. I gotta check in school and see when my next set of classes start for the semester.
Yeah.
See if I got any books I gotta purchase. And then on the business side, it's like, okay, the website, I gotta update the website. I gotta put the newsletter together. I gotta go through the release dates. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this new drop I want to put together, so I gotta work out the rollout and the dates. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they're completely different things, though.
Right.
Just like there's completely different accounts for them. I have a personal account, I have a business account. You know what I'm saying? Like, duh.
Right.
You have to be able to separate the two and have things in order that minimizes the bullshit.
Yeah, it does.
All the way across, bro.
Yeah.
The feeling of spending this crazy money for the business and it not actually like coming out of my pocket because I have a business account that I have been working on and developing and actually making deposits into from the business itself.
Right.
So now that the business can support itself.
Right.
Because sometimes I be broke.
Yeah.
The business got money.
I'm broke.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's by my standards, so don't get it twisted.
Sometimes it could be like, I'm too broke to give you what you asking for.
Well, you know, when I'm saying I'm broke, that's because, you know, I'm not able to do some of the things I want to do, or I'm operating with a lower level of money than what I'm used to.
Yeah, because that's called budgeting.
But that just means from like personal.
Yeah,
I didn't say savings.
Yeah,
that's non-existent until I have to.
That's called budgeting. When if you going outside your buffer
in that motherfucker, that motherfucker don't exist until it's going in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Fucking vanishing account. I don't know what's going on, but anyways. So, but the whole thing is being able to separate it and having discipline and operating a certain way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's almost like shit, having blinders on when it comes to managing your money and making sure things are operated how they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Over here, when you're in that lane, and then when you're over here in this lane, you don't see what's going over here because you're not operating in that lane right now. I'm over here with my personals. When I'm done with my personals and I'm moving my business, I no longer see my personals because I'm in my business.
Right.
You see, like, so business blinders, learning how to have discipline and how to separate and allocate accordingly.
Yeah. And it's a constant practice too. You know, you're always fine tuning some things because just when you think, all right, I think this is a trend. This is going to work out. I like the way this is transitioning, and then boom, you're like, okay, time to go back and do some fine tuning.
Windows.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about blinders, windows.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Windows as far as opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? For how long something may work, how long something may last,
right? How
long you have to actually get through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but windows close, windows opens, windows close. So you have to be aware of the window of time, how long it may work, because it might not be a long-term thing.
Right.
You know, so it's just shit happens.
Yeah, it really does, man. It really does.
You gotta be on top of it, man.
You do. You have to be on top of it, and you have to understand that when you get distracted or when something doesn't go to plan, and it's like, oh, you know what, I peeped through my blinders, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You have to say, you as long as you can develop the fact that you know that you're being distracted, you'll be fine. Bro, the horse will get back up. You can still run the race.
It happens.
Yeah.
That's why I said the discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It happens. But having the discipline to check yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
You got to have the discipline to be able to check yourself, because in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of cases, nobody can check you but you. And if you don't have the discipline to do that, then it goes unchecked. Things that go unchecked tend to last longer than they should.
Yes.
So you have to have the discipline to check yourself, to get back in your lane, to get back to what you're doing, understanding your why, and progressing the way that you are supposed to.
Right.
Not anybody else. You.
Right.
It sounds so simple when you say it, but like the actual mental work and the focus that it takes, it's a work in progress.
It's repetition.
Those steps can be skipped in that progress.
Yeah, it's repetition. Even it's just like working out in the gym. You do reps.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
As many sets as you can.
Until you can't live no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with the mind. It's the same thing. So you gotta keep your blinders on. Get yourself some blinders. No see-through blinders, guys. Those don't work.
Nah, none of that transparent, translucent shit.
You definitely got to do that, man. And understand that everything takes time. You know, you can sit back and you can say, man, I got my blinders on and I'm focused on this. I haven't really been getting distracted, but I just feel like this isn't coming together and this isn't you're distracting yourself there too, because you're only thinking about what's not, and you're not thinking about fine tuning. You're not thinking about it's a process. You're not thinking about other things that you could be doing to have things run smoother for you. There's always going to be something in business. I mean, everybody knows there's always something in life, but you got to understand in business, it's always going to be something.
And you have to learn how to become solution oriented and be a problem solver. When you can do that, you know, you'll look at something and you're like, why is it not da 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 da? And then you'll transition into, so since it's not this, how can I solve it? How can I rectify it?
Right.
Instead of dwelling on what it's not. Because the whole thing about it is this: it's okay to be like, this isn't working, that's not, I can't believe, but you can't live there.
No, you cannot.
See, because once you live there, that's when it's a distraction.
Yep.
You got to be able to acknowledge when things are going wrong, where you drop the ball or when it's not what it's supposed to be, so you can rectify it and make the necessary adjustments. But when you dwell on it is when you're distracted and you're living there. That's when you get off course, because the energy is being put towards focusing on the problem instead of the solution.
Absolutely. That's a good analogy, because if you take the thought process of living somewhere and how so many people most people don't live in an area or in an environment that's their dream. But if you get complacent, and like you said, if you live there, it's a wrap.
Especially in an area where there's a situation or problem where you're not happy with the results.
Exactly.
That don't make no sense.
Exactly. Like, so you're living in your distraction.
You should want to rectify that issue.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
So it doesn't become a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah. It comes around full circle.
We can keep doing this shit.
For real, man.
That's real shit though, man.
So you guys got to remember, man, you gotta stay with your blinders on, man. Try not to peek through. If you do peek through and you see some distractions, acknowledge them. Have the discipline to acknowledge them. Get back up.
Establish your why. Focus on your why. Stand on your why.
And that's what it is. And that's the boss talk we have for you. This is your boy Dizzy D Spill here with my co-host
Jelani Evans.
And you've been tuning into the Notion special episode of Boss Talk Volume 5.
Hey.
And we out of here. Peace.
Y'all be smooth.